Cam Jordan on the Saints team leaders meeting with Dennis Allen and the buy-in from the New Orleans Saints. Ladies and gentlemen, today on the channel, we are listening to Cam Jordan, Saints legend. So we've heard a lot this week about the team leaders meeting that happened, the players only meeting that happened, and a lot of, speculation has been circulating about said meeting. So let's go ahead and listen to Cam talk about said meeting and the current New Orleans Saints season, and of course the vibes in the locker room.
You got your Halloween costume lined up?
I do. You see this mustache? It'll be.
Was I expecting the first question to be about Halloween? No, I was not. But here we are.
The daughters picked this one out, so I'm just being advocating dad here. I'm willing to be bought in. If anything, I'm willing to be bought in at all times.
Candy corn?
Hell no. Kit Kats, Reese's, Frozen, Snickers. Still, fun size Snickers probably hit harder at Frozen. Fun Dip, the occasional Fun Dip.
Insane Fun Dip getting tossed in there. Let me say this real quick. I know I'm doing this video after Halloween, but I think this whole full-size candy bar thing is a complete plague. I think it's a disservice to trick-or-treaters. I think full-size candy bars are the worst thing you could possibly get if you are a trick-or-treater. What would you rather have? 30 bite-size assortment of candy? Or would you rather eat an entire Milky Way and an entire Snickers and then go lay down? I think it's terrible. I think it's a flex. I think it's clout chasing. And I think the real people, the real victims are the trick-or-treaters themselves. I want a bite-size snack of candy. I don't want to eat full-size candy bars. Who the hell is eating multiple full-size candy bars? Kids don't even do that. And candy's not something you can save. Like, you can't eat half of a Snickers, go put it up, bring it back out. Are you kidding me?
Like, if we're going to talk about old candies, I take a Werther's Original over trash candy corn. Yeah, like candy corn? No,
Werther's go hard.
No, if you like candy corn, I assume you like straight pralines, like no deviation, straight praline. Like, it's just a granulated sugar situation.
Yeah, true.
Nerds
I don't like the
are always a
texture
win.
of pralines.
Do they make nerds anymore?
Hell yeah.
They make them on that little gummy rope, but do they make like actual boxes of nerds anymore?
Oh yeah.
Double
I'd
side.
sew up a box of nerds.
Gobstoppers. Ooh, I'm still a Dots guy. We like
Dots suck.
bringing in childhood favorites.
Swedish
Dots.
fish
Come on.
suck.
Cam, there was talk of some of the veterans having conversations with head coach Dennis Allen and each other, the players this week. What were those conversations about, and why was
That lady had enough. He was talking Swedish fish. He was talking nerds. He was talking, gobstoppers. And she said, hey, enough of the garbage. Okay. She said, hey, listen, we're 2-6. Let's get back on track here. So she cut the crap, as they say.
Is there a need for them?
I mean, the stat came out. We haven't lost 6 games since 2005, so more conversations needed to be had. Whatever it is, it's a season of more. And I think I said that at the beginning of the season because I was like, we're going to get more wins. And we started off 2-0, and I was like, hell, way more wins. With 9 opportunities left, we have to find a way, walk, crawl, claw, whatever it is, to find a solution. I clearly don't know what that solution is, or else we wouldn't be sitting here 2-6. Whether that's up top, down low being the players, anything in between, hell, the equipment guys, whatever it takes to get us back into the win column. I know Carolina's having their problems, but we've never been worried about anybody outside of our locker room. We got to focus on us and what that takes. So anybody who takes the field has to have that mentality.
What's kind of interesting about this? Like, a lot of the times when things are going bad on a team, whether it's an NFL team or any kind of sports team, a lot of the time, the first place people look, fans or whatever, is like the top. What he's talking about. Just take the Saints for example. Like, the Saints are on a 6-game losing streak. Where has most of the criticism been laid? Who would you say the top 3 people who are being criticized are? Just off the top of your head. I would say it's Dennis Allen, Mickey Loomis, and Gail Benson. It is the top of the top, right? I have a unique look at this. I invert it. I always look at the bottom first. Pause. I always look at, that's why we go over the box scores, right? Like, when we're consistently allowing 7 yards of carry, 8 yards of play, that's not Gail Benson's fault. That's not Mickey Loomis's fault. that Sean Tucker has 140 yards. It's not their fault that Javonte Williams is having the best game of his career, right? So before you get to that top, before Gale Benson can really make an impact one way or the other, before, I think you have to do the little things right. You have to be efficient. You have to, which is, again, why we always look at like EPA and, while we look at these metrics of tracking, like how efficient are we being? Are we in a position to win these games? And for a lot of these, the answer to that is no. Like, we are not in a position to win the game when we're giving up 7 yards a carry or 7 yards per play and we're getting outgained by 200 yards or the time of possession is a 20-minute difference like it was in Kansas City. So like the Chargers game, we were in a position to win that game. Okay, we inverted it. We check everything. Well, defense was actually pretty good. Well, actually, the running game was pretty good. So why did we lose by margin? Why did we seemingly get blown out? And then you can kind of go up to the top. Okay, is this a coaching problem? Is this a roster problem? Is this whatever? So I think it's kind of natural for people to look at the top first, but I would implore you to start trying to go the other way. Start trying to look at the players first, roster first, performance first, and then go up. I think it's always weird whenever it's like, man, we can't stop the run. Damn it, Gale Benson. It's like, brother, she's not playing nose tackle.
Because it becomes like week after week after half, 6 games losing streak, and you're there part of something like this.
Man, and on a double spectrum of never been in a losing situation and never been a situation that I'm in this year currently. Had you told me previously what had been going on, I'm like, hell yeah, we've got nothing but talent and possibilities. You don't foresee injuries. You don't foresee given roles. You don't foresee you ever losing this many games in a season, let alone in a row. So you have to focus. There's nothing to be happy about. At the same time, there's nothing but a possibility to bring positive energy into it. You got to speak life not only to the game, you got to bring it to practice each and every day.
I think that is good for the Saints, where certain teams like Carolina, if they're on a 6-game losing streak, they're looking around like, we suck. Like, of course, like, we're terrible. The players around us are terrible. Like, what are we going to do? For the Saints, there is still a lot of talent in the locker room that does have high expectations. So when I hear the DeMario Davises and the Derek Carrs and the Alvin Kamaras and the Chris Olaves and Marshawn Lattimore and Tyrann Mathieu or whoever saying, like, we need to get better, we need to lift this, I'm like, yeah, they have a chance to lift this because they have the talent, they have the the pedigree to do that. When I hear whoever from Carolina say, we've got to lift this, it's like, brother, you're not lifting nothing. You're a 65 overall. Like, you're lucky to even be on the roster. So the Saints do have that. They do have talented players. Are they playing at the highest level? Absolutely not. Are they at the peak of their powers? Absolutely not. But Cam Jordan's voice in that locker room is still a voice to be respected and a voice that carries weight versus some second round CFL dropout playing for Carolina or the Raiders.
Kim, as you guys, more and more time passes, there's fewer and fewer guys like you that kind of know what the Saints standard was, that were touched at part of it. Like, how do you convey that to kind of the mass majority of the team?
Man, there was a time where, you looked around the league and you'd say, the Saints were favored for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're at a point where you can't pinpoint, all right, this is how the Saints will win, because we have to find a new formula. And that's what you've been trying to figure out. Clearly, early success doesn't indicate the season success. And even right now at 2-6, there's still 9 possibilities. So there's still a lot of success to be had. You have to be able to find that solution and grasp it now. I don't think there's like, the season's long. No, we're halfway through for pretty much all purposes.
Have you guys ever felt like close to finding that formula?
Yeah, I mean, you say over the last 2-3 years. Absolutely. I mean, there's no point in any given day that I don't wake up knowing the Saints are going to win. I mean, that's the way I'm wired, and that's the way that I've been wired and been built and had confidence and faith in. Faith can always be shaken, but it doesn't disappear. So my faith is still the Saints are going to figure out a way to win somehow, some way. And at the end of the season, if that's not the case, then I'll adjust it then. But in my mind, we're going 11-6.
DA said that meeting with the Cowboys positive in terms of that? Kind of what's your sense of how everyone's handling it?
I don't know. When I haven't really tuned in. I was at the grocery store the other day, and somebody asked me about what DA said to the media. I was like, I don't. Got it. Yeah. The mission statement is whatever it takes to win. We got whatever that means. I mean, as guys are starting to get back to being healthy, great, and at the same time, hey, yo, Austin. Hey, y'all too loud over here, fam. We holding the whole conference right now. Oh, that's Bink. Nah, that was definitely Austin. I'm trying to tell you, these redheads, man.
Get Cam Jordan at Airline Drive. I need him screaming at the airplane pilots who are piloting the B-52s that are flying over. The interviews. Shout out Cam Jordan right there.
Hey, that's why you look like Cruella DeVille right now. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Where was I? I got sidetracked. He didn't deserve that.
You guys had a great dinner.
Yeah.
Everything right now.
Man, we had a dinner where we talked about, what's getting across, what's the mission statement, and the same. It's just we got to find a way to win. I mean, I could tell you everything that happened in the meeting, but that's not going to tell us how we're going to win Sunday. I could tell you, everything that happened in the game plan from Wednesday, Thursday, and will happen tomorrow. That won't tell you how to win. At the end of the day, this is a winning business, and we have to be able to have a good business to win.
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% with what Cam's saying right there, too, where it's like, look, they can have all the captain meeting, team dinners, whatever, vibe boosting things that they want. They got to win. And that's kind of what I'm talking about, where it's like you can say, they don't like Dennis Allen, or they're doing this, or Mickey Loomis this, or Gail Benson this. Okay, well, how does that translate to Alontae Taylor getting mossed by Ladd McConkey? Or like, how does that translate to Sean Tucker running for 140 yards? Because the players are on the field. They have to perform. I used this metaphor before, but the line cooks, where if the line cooks don't like management, okay. But to a certain point, you got to cook the food. And at a certain point, you got to do your job. And I don't care how much you don't like the management, or how much you don't agree with what the coaches are doing, or how much you don't have faith in the coaches, or whatever. These guys are professionals. These guys are, most of them, Cam Jordan included, are at the end of his career. So I can guarantee you they're not laying down. They're not quitting on anybody. Now, if you're under that assumption of them not quitting, them not laying down, then why are the performances how they are? That's the paradox that they're in right now. So I agree with them, where we can talk about player meetings, and we can talk about this, and we can talk about that, and speeches, and postgame, and pregame, and practice, and whatever. But until we see it on the field, none of that really matters. And until it translates to the field, none of it really matters either.
So anything that you identified in your guys' process that helps the change?
I mean, you're always going to throw out, hey, we can get more sacks on D-line. We can get more pressures. You can be more gap sound, because, prior to this last game of them averaging like 2.5 a clip from the running back spot, I think it was like 6.5, 300-400 yards on the ground, and that's embarrassing. So to have a game like Chargers and still not come out with the win, you go to the halftime where the score was what, 5-9? Right. I was looking from my side, not their side. But, yeah, so, you look at it like that at halftime, the last 4 or 5 games, you've looked at them like, all right, we're in a position, striking distance or ahead of the game. We have to be able to take the lead or keep the lead. And we haven't been able to do so. So it's not confidence in the first half, ultimate confidence. There needs to be confidence and strength in the second half. So whatever that is to finish out the last 30 minutes.
I think when the team loses 6 games in a row, there's going to be fair questions of like, hey, is the buy-in still there? Is the locker room still there? And I think that's when DA's talking about, hey, we had a meeting and we feel like things are going in the right direction. I think that's the question. Do you kind of get
DA's had a meeting with the captains. Captains have had a talk just between ourselves. We've had talks with our position groups. Talking is talking. Until we walk in, it's going to be hard for people to be like, oh, they're bought in. I'm bought in. There's blood to be bled, and I'm always going to bleed black and gold.
Do you guys have a team-wide players meeting?
Not yet. It's probably happening soon, though. I think that everybody understands exactly where we are. And I feel like when people aren't bought in is when you have like a team meeting.
Yeah.
I feel like this is something that you feel in the morning meetings. This is something you feel in the locker room. This is something you feel at practice, how everybody wants to win and talks about winning and still talks about winning. So there's not a dire need of like, oh, he's not bought in. It's a dire need of it's time to prove that we are a winning organization.
Hey, Cam, you know how much this city loves the Saints. How frustrating is that part of just knowing how the fans are?
You know how much I'm in the city.
Cam is. I'll give him that. I mean, Cam, I saw him at the Pelicans game. He was walking around Pelicans game, saw him in the first one. So he is very visible. It is kind of surprising. Like, you know, I am downtown New Orleans. I live downtown New Orleans. I spend my money downtown New Orleans. I go to downtown New Orleans bars and restaurants and grocery stores and all that stuff. And it is kind of surprising how little I see players. Like, I've never seen a single Pelican out. I've never seen a Saint besides CJ Gardner-Johnson at the airport when he was leaving, going to Philly, and Cam Jordan at the Pelicans games. But that's it. It's wild because New Orleans isn't that big of a place. Like, geographically, it's not that big. I can understand where you don't see, people in New York or whatever, but it is surprising how little visibility they have.
No, them aunties, them TTs coming now. They coming for real business. I don't know what's wrong with us. If you have the answer, let me know. Tell me how we can win, and I'm all in. This city stands behind the Saints 9 times out of 10, unless you check Twitter. And then you'd assume that the fan base has left us, but everybody that I come in contact with, I was just at 2 different schools this Tuesday. I was just at the grocery store getting fired up by the lady at the counter. The city is frustrated with our losing, and at the same time still behind us. And just like the players here, got to find a way to win.
I go ahead and tell you, I mean, that's 100% correct. And that's why I never really get too high, never really get too low. But you on Twitter and in the YouTube comments or whatever, it is a bunch of boycott the games, burn the merchandise, I hate this team, I'm not watching this team, don't go to the games, whatever. I can promise you, I mean, they're playing in Carolina, but I can promise you the next home game going to be sold out, jam-packed, music will be playing, people will be having a great time, and when that kickoff happens, people will be cheering out of their minds, including me. And it's just how you have to approach this team. No one likes to lose, or any team. No one likes to lose. The players don't like to lose. No doubt about it. And we can all say, like, yeah, Dennis Allen should be fired. Yes, there should be changes roster-wise and coaching-wise, for sure. But I have never bought into the idea that the team has quit on themselves, the players have quit, whatever. And it is what it is. Is it fun to watch? No. I mean, well, after Denver, like the Denver game, I've told this story a million times. Like, before Denver, went to Fives bar, really enjoyed myself, had a nice little drink at Fives in Jackson Square, walked down with the rest of the Saints fans, walked down to the game. After the game, went to the Roosevelt bar, went to the Roosevelt to the Sazerac bar, had a drink, and when we're in there sitting there having a drink, it's like, yeah, it's sad. It's almost like a funeral. Like, you're almost crying in your martini, but then you it's on to the next one, and whether it's just blind optimism of your team or whatever, but I think it's easy to say that the team has quit, the players have quit, all that stuff has quit, until you actually see and hear from the players and realize, like, okay, there's nothing in that. There's nothing in, like, Cam Jordan is not quitting on this team. So, all right, good stuff from Cam. Thank y'all very much for watching. I always appreciate it, and I will see y'all in the next video.